Hello, I'm Sarah from Inside Out. I've just been enjoying some of the talks on the Super Anxiety Online Summit, and I wanted to share some of the things that I've heard with you. Some of those things have really reinforced for me what I had learned in my own journey of healing and back to sleep. One of the interesting ones I enjoyed was the reference to sleep being a litmus test for your mental and emotional health, which I feel is very pertinent, that all mental health conditions are impacted in some way by sleep, and in actual fact the reverse as well, in that lack of sleep, poor sleep, feeds into poor mental health, poor coping ability. So it becomes a bit of a vicious loop. And the quickest way really to see what's going on and see where you're at is to actually look at how your sleep is going. The more dysregulated your nervous system is, the more it prevents you from falling asleep. And that was certainly something that I discovered for myself. So all of the unprocessed negative thoughts, feelings, experiences, negative stuff that sits within our systems puts us into that heightened physiological state, that fight, flight, freeze state. And anxiety and depression are symptoms really of being in that heightened state. So what's really good to understand is that actually that's not a psychological process, it's a physiological one. So anxiety is, in fact, an automatic physiological survival response or reaction that's more powerful than our conscious brain to whatever it is that we're perceiving is going on. So it's really helpful to think about the nervous system operating as a physiological response, and that when we are trying to address sleep issues, we want to be looking at the nervous system level and stabilizing the nervous system. Certainly when I find that I am struggling to get to sleep, then it's always because there's unprocessed thoughts, emotions that are swirling around that really do need to be addressed, and so I need to put in more effort to regulate my nervous system, to calm my whole body physiology down so that I am able to relax and actually go to sleep. So the message really is that when we work with the body, when we learn the tools to calm our fight, flight, freeze response down, when we build resiliency in our nervous systems and we learn how to actually effectively manage our stress response, which of course is a natural part of us, which we don't want to get rid of because it's necessary and needed, but we can learn certainly how to manage and deal with stress in healthy ways when it comes up for us. When we do those things, then we support our system and sleep can come naturally, because it is a natural thing for us to experience sleep. So it's about working with our bodies. If sleep hygiene tips work for you, the reducing the coffee, turning off the bright lights at night, there's a whole list of them. Great. That's giving you a fairly good indication that your nervous system is probably in a pretty good and pretty resilient place. But if they're not enough and they're not working for you, and they didn't for me, all is not lost. I like one of the quotes from Charlie Morley, who was one of the speakers I listened to, and he described sleep hygiene as like a plaster in a car crash. And that certainly was the way it felt for me. It didn't really matter what I did from a sleep hygiene point of view. None of it was going to make an ounce of difference to my ability to actually drop into sleep. So that was a really good, clear indicator that actually what was going on for me was happening at a much bigger, deeper physiological level where I really needed to address my nervous system. So we can range from, being just a little bit heightened down our nervous system and struggling to get off to sleep with maybe our mind racing and tossing and turning, right through to, somebody who's experienced trauma, etc., and they might find that they close their eyes and then they get flashbacks. So, there's a continuum. So it's about where is your nervous system on that continuum, and therefore what's going to help make the difference for you. So if sleep hygiene alone isn't enough for you and you've tried a whole range of different things, then I suggest that the nervous system is really the place that you need to look at. So I'll leave those thoughts with you, and thanks. It's great to share this really, really important information.